So just a quick recap onto the content. So what we're trying to do is, um, so yesterday we tried to talk about a few things. So in general, in integrations, we are picking it up REST first, and then while talking about REST, so we are trying to, what are the possible things that you can do it. REST is basically used for a web-based application, and we try to expose a service or we try to consume a service from other system. So likewise, while expose that you consume whatever you try to do in two ways. You do in synchronous way or you do in asynchronous way. Synchronous is something that you get the results instantly. So whereas asynchronous you don't get the results in instant, but they are fire and forget concept. So tools something like Google like Postmans we try to use it. So maybe not now. We'll be frequently using it to test the service. Yet we are in a consume state. Maybe depends on the results that we use. So like yesterday we tried to use this just sending the request and then using get. So we got the results. So this is how we try to use it. Sometimes if you have authorization, all the keys that you have, so you would give there's a lot of information there and what body, what params you have to send, all that you give it here. So that way, so we get the results easily. But this one which they had in UI, so there's a custom way that they have it. So to send like this, so the API key should be replaced and then a distance like true from and true it should be there and units in kilometers we have to get it. So all this we pass, you get the distance between the one zip code to another zip code. The same idea of what we're trying to do is we're trying to find in a restaurant. So the customer's zip code and the nearest restaurant zip code we'll figure out. So those will be attaching to the system. So while doing that, so we're gonna fire up saying that, hey, what is your zip code? So in the zip code, if we found out, so we're gonna pick it up. Okay, this is the zip code that we have, and this is the distance that we have. Now, um, so yesterday we written logic to something like this. So before that, did I cover? So while doing and exposing a service, few questions you would require. So generally, like when you want to expose service, what are the things that you want to expose? Like say create. Are you allowing someone to create a record in your system, or reading a record, or updating a record, deleting something you wanted to know? So that so you try to expose service to some other people, where you being the creator of the system. While doing that, you give an endpoint to the people, like you frame the endpoint and you give something that credential something that this with the help of this one you can connect to me and you send this is a request where you can hit me and this is a response you'll get after hitting me. So this is all I should prepare and give it when I'm exposing a service. So a few things we have like so someone trying to call us. So if they use the default methods, normally we will just say that default is 10 seconds, or if they specifically set the time, we give it as up to 120 seconds to connect with us and get the response. So moreover in Salesforce we say if you do not get any response within the 120 seconds in synchronous system, so we say it's a read timeout error. Same way, what are the couple of methods that we have while trying to expose? We have to use this all HTTP get, post, put. We use REST resource and URL mapping to expose the service. So we are yet to expose the service now. We're still in the consume state. So while doing consume, what we did it is few things in your mind you should have. What is the questions that you have is what is the data volume that you're going to deal while you're trying to hit those third party systems. So we assume that we are simply getting a service. You're hitting someone and you're getting some data. How sure that we are getting only 5 records, or what if we get millions of records? So what if we get millions of records? So the generic question which I'm asking is, so while we consume a service from a third party, hey Kumar, so while we're trying to consume a service from third party, so we have to ask few questions like what is the data volume in one transaction, how many can record put in process. So if I want to do a process of those many records, do I need to put this integration into a batch? So all that we have to consider. And again, so what type of service that we are writing it? Are we trying to get a record or trying to update a record or trying to someone delete a record? So those we should be very careful enough. And in this case, someone has been exposing service, we have to connect with them. We are just consumers. Someone is the producer there, or they are the creators. So we need to ask those to those people. Maybe we directly connect to some system or connect to middleware. So firstly, we have to ask endpoint URL, and we have to ask them to give credentials so that they can you can connect with them. So again, request and response. So request and response in both the ways we have to ask them, because with the help of that only we can do some activity. Now, which method are you using for to invoke and custom? Okay, so a couple of methods we can have. They are called REST-based HTTP methods: get, post, put, delete, patch. So get means you're trying to read, post means you're trying to create, means you're trying to update. So delete is for record to delete, patch is something like an upset activity to do it. So this is a couple of REST methods we have. So we will see. So already we started using get method in this. So while implementing something, how do you do it? So first thing is like as I ask these questions to third party guys, so they should provide us. So we use zip code API. So it's an open source API. We are trying to this service, and then we have this API key where it is either like kind of connecting to some third party with the credentials, like where you try to authorize them. So this single API code is enough for them to authorize. And then so you are trying to send this request. There's a pattern they've given. Had the API key here and distance, like what format you want, XML, JSON, or zip code 1 and zip code 2, and then units. So if you pass this request URL, so you would get something as a response as this is the distance. Basically, you're trying to say that hey, this just an endpoint 1 as a request postal code, and you say that the postal code 2. So I'm gonna give you response as the distance between these two guys. So what needs to be done in Salesforce while you wanted to implement this? So we have to first thing is we have to set the remote set settings, and we have to check them whether the URL or thing is working or not. What to do is we just go to the developer console and do a trial test. Of course, we have to do a trial test. The postman also I'm using here is to do a trial test. Why I'm being here is I'm just checking outside the system. If it is works fine, of course it will work in Salesforce also. Um, so that's the reason we test the postman. Sometimes in the postman we get the results. In the Salesforce we don't get the results. Maybe the end system, like the third party guys, they are blocking the the request. Maybe they have some proxies service to set up, or some IP code has been missing, or they are not allowing us to connect with them. Maybe open source they're connecting it. For secure connections, when you want to establish, they are not allowing us to connect from a Salesforce to third party guys. So maybe sometimes you have to ask them whether they have set any proxy. Okay. So what is use case that we're doing it yesterday is we have a customers, like say business customers and individual customers. So we wanted to, whenever I'm just inserting and updating a customer, and based on the zip code which they're given, I need to find the nearest restaurant, and also I need to update their what do you say, a distance of those kilometers. So that is a simple API request we are doing it. Actually, it's a call out. So when you try to do an update or insert activity, it is basically you are trying to do an Apex call. Already we written a trigger, so I thought of using trigger. So in trigger directly we cannot call the callouts. So we have to handle with the asynchronous methods, which is future method. So triggers best is future method whenever we wanted to have a callout. Because in triggers you can't use a batch, or you can't use schedulable. Those all things you can't use it. So best thing is you have to use future. Anyway, this guys runs in a different transaction, and absolutely they take few informations. So these are the simple requests that we made in developer console to test if the service is working or not. And continuing to this, we have to write the logic. I think you get to know now what we are done with yesterday. So this is a before insert. So I could write in the activity in the before insert or before update. So we are focusing on the before update. So we can make it easy. Like Go find the nearest restaurant batch. We can have the same snippet. It's okay, fine. But this guy should have a postal code. So I need not to go and fetch this ideas, guys. Get the parent ID. So if already this is doing a proper work of finding the nearest restaurant street, so we will get their billing street code. So what I thought is to go first find with the billing code and then do all this activity. So then I thought, okay, what shall we do is, so we'll find this record by this nearest branch by street, and we'll pick it up their postal code and send to a fetch service to find the distance among them. So that would make more easy in order to complicate the systems. We just ideally wanted to understand in integration how the get service works. And now we are trying to update the record. But doing this, what I thought is, okay, let's have this if statement here. Mm. So what we're doing is we are finding the nearest restaurant by street, and the street would surely will give some address. Okay, and we are trying to find the parent ID here. So this is fair enough. So also what we're checking is, um, just to make sure. Okay, so I'm just saying first is find the restaurant billing street is not equal to null, and so there could be a postal code can be null. So that's the reason I'm not doing any if in this case. So you are able to fetch the nearest restaurant by account by getting the parent ID. All right. So if you're able to find this, so then so billing postal code if that is not null, so what I do is so this is account ID and a billing postal code I'll send it out. So I don't want to have this too many parameters to be sent here. Very simple. So I'm sending this account ID and I'm sending this billing postal code. So the billing postal code is who if you see um, the account which is coming in. So there is billing code postal code. So guys, here I wanted to find out. So billing postal code 1 and billing postal code 2. So so while we get these restaurants, fetch the nearest restaurant, why do we get right? So I have to do some change here. Something like if I give this, you're trying to give me a parent record, right? So obviously I wanted to have. So who is the nearest billing restaurant you're having it? And I need their postal code as well. Not only the parent ID, I require the postal code. Hmm. So we are passing a billing street and you're trying to return the record ID here. So that too account ID we're trying to pass it out. So in this case, so far I think we are using a string as a return. So let me see where and all this billing restaurant by street I used. So in two places I've used. Um, there's a small change which I want to do is for the existing trigger. So what we're doing is we try to fire this service. It's not a service. We try to fire this method just passing by billing street method, billing street value. You were able to get me the parent ID of that account, or generally getting the respective account ID, and we were able to map it right. So in this case, what I want to do is I wanted to return not as a string, no, return as an account. That means string if I can do, I can get only one value. If I could pass entire record, if I could pass entire record, so then it makes sense for me to have multiple fields in that. So now doing this, this guy is written only string. So that's the reason. I wanted to make them as a return type as not a string. I want to make them as an account. So that so I would return account record entirely. So need not to specifically say that okay, give me the account ID only. So in this case, if the record is found, I'm not sending specifically an account ID. So I'm saying sending the return type of an account itself. So account of zero indicates the first record which I'm sending here. And so in the postal code, I'm not sending the street and none. So instead, I'm gonna send the postal code customer, postal code restaurant. So I'll just reiterate and then explaining what I'm trying to do it. So first nearest street, I'm just sending the account record. See, sending with the string indicates only one record is sending back. Sending as an account indicates that you are trying to send the whole account record. So in this account, I can have a couple of fields. So why I require is because you find in the restaurant's account record. So easy to get their postal code, right? So for me, it will be easy. You are from postal code anyway, their record has been processed here. So in this indication, the record which is coming in, so they all are customers. The customer in the sense, of course, they are either business customers or individual customers. So you're trying to fetch the nearest restaurant by here. So in this case, what happens is, so they are trying to get the your restaurant's information. It's not about your customers' information. So again, your restaurant's information is also getting. So that is the reason we said parent ID, no? So what we want to do is, um, so this guy would get me the entire result. So in this case, if you pass a billing street, what the return I want to get it? I want to get the account ID. So dot ID if you put it's more than enough. What it indicates is, hey, calling this method is returning an account. I'm saying the whole account dot ID if I say, so that is the parent ID which I wanted to map it. Now the return type is account. Getting? And to access only the ID, then below con. How did it do? So your method which you're calling this still here would return me an account record. So that's the reason we are saying that this whole thing not equal to null. Okay, that particular record, return record of an account is not equal to null. Okay, great. And then we're specifically getting that hey, this whole account what you're returning. So that account dot ID is basically we treating it as parent ID. It's getting so account dot billing postal code not equal to null. So and I would say so you can assign this to a record also. So if you think that this is all crazy, you can assign to a record also. So this account which I would say is as okay, I would say this is a parent record info. Okay, let's keep this as the parent record. So is equals to you can call them here. Okay. Now the parent record dot ID you see it here. So the method which you're calling, so they are returning the account record. So you're mapping here. So the return type of an account is ID. So directly we can call dot ID and we can get the ID record. Directly post the billing postal code, you can get the respective records. Or if you feel that is not comfortable, then assign to a field like this. So of course we know. So LHS is equal to RHS. The majority time we're doing it. So calling this method is returning an account record. So I assume them as a parent record. Of course, we are pulling the restaurant, right? So they are parent to me. So this account at billing postal code not equal to null, something that you're comparing. Basically, we check the customer postal code and um, restaurant postal code not null. So account dot billing postal code indicates our customer information, and I would say and. So this parent record dot. Well, because we want both of these guys should be not null. Only then I can check your source and destination postal code and get the address of them. So postal 1 and postal 2. If I pass them, so I'll get the difference of their destinations, no kilometers. Postal code via callout. So we are trying to send the uh, two things. Three things we have to send it. So what are three things? So we are sending the account ID which we wanted to update, which is account ID, customer ID. Send the customer ID which we want to update. Correct, right? So I need to send the account ID along with customer postal code and restaurant postal code. So account.billing postal code is a customer code. Now parent record. So whatever we have, parent record.billing postal code is the restaurant postal code or destination postal code. So we are trying to find the difference between these two guys. So then we're good. Okay, there's an above method which already we are using it. So which we are returning a string method. So in this case, I'm just dot id. I'll put it very simple way. Why? Because we know it, right? So the return type is account. To access them, use this below call. See the whole bunch is returning account record. Dot id if I say that account at id it is, which is returning it. Earlier I was just sending a simple string as an ID. So now I'm just getting whole account so that I can use multiple fields which inside them. Uh, Getting one single field or getting whole object is makes a difference, right? So now the whole object which we are assigning here. And now I'm able to pull the ID separately and post the billing code separately. So whatever the whole records is just coming in, I can use them effectively. So for that reason, we use this. I think we are good. Any questions here?
No, okay, so we are comparing parent and child billing codes.
Yeah. So
Okay,
parent is actually uh, your restaurant,
yeah,
and this account which is processing is a customer billing code, postal code. So with the help of this two, if you pass, then only I'll get the nearest distance.
okay.
Like, just a second, please. Okay, I'm back. So in this activity, what we're trying to do is we sending the fetch postal code. So I'm not changing any method in the previous state, whatever it is. So it was working very good enough. So sending by billing state, I was able to properly update their parent ID. So it was working absolutely good. So I don't want to disturb the service. Again, doing reiterating, sending the postal code and doing the change. Now, only changes which I want to do is, of course, your postal code 1 and 2 you have. The record which is fetched nearest by restaurant, you're just getting only the account ID. So why not we get their account information, entire things? So I get there the restaurant postal code also I'll get it. So that will be helping me to compare the customer address with the postal code and then the parent postal code. So this will help me out to update the record easily with the distance. So now this fetch postal code is a callout method, which we're trying to do it. Send the customer ID which you wanted to update. Yes, this one. Customer postal code this one, and the restaurant postal code is this one. So all these three information is required by this record we're gonna update along with the billing postal code and the parent postal code. If you send these two things, you can update easily to this record. Now come to this method, so which is a future method. Yeah. So we're getting the postal code of a customer, postal code of a restaurant. So as soon as we come here, so future method cannot take any like account object. The whole thing they cannot take it. It would have been very easy if it would have taken the account object. For example, look at this. String ID we got it. Instead, I would have sent the account itself. We'll try this. Instead, I would have sent the account record itself. Hmm? And then I'll come down. See, future methods, their incoming parameters should be very clear enough. So their params very neat should be. It doesn't have any type of an account. They don't support any S objects. So that's being reason we are sending it as string. So we can't send the account record. So we have to send the ID. So meaning them it is what? So we have to query them. So we don't have an option. Is it? So to query this record, whichever the record we get it. So we say query the related restaurants. So I say that query the related restaurants. And I'm saying that query the related or query the customer information, customer record. Because we have to update them, right? So okay. In meanwhile, so we have to fetch. No, we have to send the service to this case. What we have to do is already we're getting the postal code to customers. So we don't give any hard coded value. We say send plus, and then we give a zip code. One indicates our customer's postal code. I'm giving it. Zip code two is the restaurant postal code. Let the distance is the same, kilometer same, API restaurant distance all same. But sending this to you would return me as a result where in the response.getBody you would have the kilometers, and that kilometers have to update the distance between you and the restaurant field. Okay. Now let's query the customer account. Um, Update select the comma. So what do you want to do? Select ID, comma. Which field we wanted to update that we have to mention here. Mm, The field of that which yesterday which we created is distance. Distance between you and restaurant. It's a field yesterday we created. It's a number field. So this particular field we can copy it here from account where ID is equal to colon the string ID which we pass it here. It's getting the customer record which we send. I'm just querying again them because this particular guy will just only have an account ID. With the account ID, I cannot directly update a record. I need to query them. I need to have the account object like this instance. I need to have only then I can update the such record. Keeping only the ID is not useful. And anyhow, we can't pass the entire account object, so that again we have to requery them. So I showed you right. So changing them to an account object so that we can directly pull them, then we can use it. So that is not allowing because future method doesn't takes any input parameters, any objects. You can have simple collection, primitive data types, string, whatever you can have, but they don't allow you an object to be passed. So that's the principle. Now the query the customer record, of course we queried this. I wanted to put this as a limit one. So need not to be uh, because I think account relative one is enough to get the one record. I'm just putting a limit one so that it's a singleton record we are holding it here. It's not list even. Now this whole thing is what we call as okay, the service. The service helps to fetch the distance between two zip codes. So that's the service. So we have to have HTTP request response. So this is always generic common thing when you wanted to hit a service to third party guys. And this API, if you wanted to use them into a separate labels, you can of course you can go them here. You can go to labels. So go to the custom labels and you can create a new label. So calling it as zip code API and then set the value. You can completely give the zip code value. So this is API key, which is always since in the production when you go, you need not to change this API key. Each and every system they have different API keys. They can have it in a developer sandbox. They can have this API. In another UAT, they can have different API. For a production, they can have different API. So you can't go to a program always. You can change them. So best thing is when it goes to production, you need not to test the code. Actually, in production, they don't allow you to modify Repix class. The reason behind it, that is the reason we are using it, the custom labels like this. So which category? Let's say these are our integration category. Let's put it. Okay. So I'm gonna save this. So this is the API name that we have. So I wanted to have this operated component again. I want to use this API. So instead of this hard coding, I would try to. So you put label dot and then that API name. Sorry, what are the API name that you're given as name? There's any questions here? So this endpoint also you could have been replaced with that. So again, label dot, you can create them. So as we are doing this, it is pretty easy for us. So since sometimes this endpoint for developer, they give it as www.zipcodeapi.com/dev/rest. So that indicates for development, they're giving these APIs as an endpoint. Maybe for production, so they don't have dev something. So it's a flat APIs. So even for that, if you have a zip code like endpoints, it will be useful to you. We say it again, zip code endpoint, and it's a category of integration. So why I'm writing these categories, you can later filter it out. So I won't show that. Uh, these are the frequent things in a project you may be using in the future state. So slash this. Okay, save it. So look at this endpoint slash till we have, and I want to don't have any of this. Why the protected common is enabled is because when you want to upload a package, the whole code. So that protected component will help you out. Only restricted things you can upload there. Mm, Zip code endpoint we have here. So I don't say any after the so label done. Perfect. So label dot zip code endpoint we're getting from here. And then so API is we're getting from here. Perfect. And distance format we're getting from here. Zip code 1 is the postal customer code which we're sending from the recipient, and zip code 2 is the postal code restaurant which we're getting from there, and we're getting the units. Units is kilometer we're passing it. So by doing this all activity, we setting it up. Hey, you are a set method. Request we have to set which method you're dealing with. Like as I said here, a couple of methods that we are dealing with. It could be get, post, put, whatever it is. We just simply trying to read from the API as get restore records. So you're absolutely getting the get method. Tomorrow you order to do some post activity. So you send few params again, whatever the destination people required. So you're sending all those fields. So you're sending the get request there. Set an endpoint. Yes, we have to set this endpoint. This is the URL which you're passing it on. And HTTP file variable, we are trying to send this request, the whole request, whatever you framed it here. Sometimes they send the format also, like content type is equal to application slash JSON. We are not sending any JSON request here. Sometimes the request itself would be a JSON. So in that case, we have to deal with this. Now, system.debug. So we're getting the response.get body. So this response.get body is actually getting from this. So they are displaying as 1000, 4000 kilometers or 2000 kilometers, depends on the these two postal codes address which you get it. So I want to check now if I got it. Yeah. So till now we made them to give actual live data records here. Now we say response dot get body not equal to null, and you want to check their status code also if you want to. So response dot so get status so indicates that your status um, is always status code is always 200. So what this indicates? So your response dot get body should not be null, and your status code also should be 200. So that means whatever the service that which you hit is always getting the right results. Expression cannot be assigned. Where's that? So not equal to double equal to 200. So this is a boolean statement, right? You have to say that whether it is true or false. So response dot is not null, and your get status code is also double equal to 200. So then only we know that okay, body value we're getting it, and our request is also which you made is having a proper response, and the code they are returning as 200. That means success, no issues in this. Now what you have to do is, so this update account, we have to update account dot, what does it feel? Um, so the above which you return. So distance between you and the sun. So this particular fields we have to update the value. So in the restaurant, the response dot get body. So we are trying to get the result as this. And yesterday we've seen this. So we have to pass the value now here. So you are getting a distance and their associate value are getting it. I think we have to pass this distance value. So if I use JSON parsing, so retrieve value from JSON body and JSON developer. Okay. simple parser methods we have. So that's the reason I'm opening this. So where we can say that hey, this is a parser return value we're getting it, and we can get their individual records. Let's say your JSON is becoming this big, and then you wanted to parse them. Still, we can use this entire JSON string and we can parse them. Here indicates it starts with an array. So when it's an array, so you have to say that start array. Hey, this is one way, guys. Where otherwise is can use it as something like a wrapper class or a small, where we can use this. What is that? So we have something called as deserialize method. I'll show you. Um, okay, let's do the simple parsing because you hitting to this JSON, hitting to this endpoint. So there are a couple of examples given in around to the Salesforce. We could have utilized this, but this is something it's on. What is that? This example is about. Go get the quantity, price, penny eraser. So this is not we're dealing with the restaurant. So something we wanted to get the zip code that makes sense for us when I'm hitting this endpoint. This endpoint is giving something on documents, like saying that this is notebook, ruler, pen, invoice number. So it may not be relevant to our use case. Let's we are dealing with the restaurant. That's the reason I was using those different APIs, or else you could have used this simple example. So no problem. So we have to do it as a response.getBody. So we have to create a parcel like this. So let's do this. So you can use a simple string methods. So based on the what is the value that we're getting. So you can use a regex method. Use regex regular expression to pull the value which is mapped mapped to distance. Of course, right? Okay. So yesterday, so that it went off. So it had a clear information. Distance is equals to and the value we're able to get it right. And the JSON structure something was like this: open and close, and then we had a distance like this, and then we had the value directly 7 kilometer 0.23 something. So this is how the response it was. So I can go using like regular expressions. I can just pick it up only the distance and their associate values we would have picked up. Okay, or else it's okay to find to create a parsers like this from a response. What we get. So get when you want to deal with more number of fields. So actually, I'm just getting the distance field. Parse JSON response to get the distance field values. So, so we're doing this simply because we can't directly assign the responsibility to someone. Inside there's a field specific called as distance and their respective value I want to pick it up. So that's the reason we are parsing this body. So if someone asks you, so have you worked in any parser? Yes, JSON parser we have worked, which is manually we try to go and get the respective field value. So I'll show other way also because all the possible ways we have to know it. So that's the reason I'm showing this. So double so double I'm just saying distance value. And why I'm putting this dot dot is because we created a field called as number and the return result is also we have something like point. So we need to have double. Okay, now while parser dot next token not equal to null and then JSON field is current token is this and the get text is here. It's distance. Yeah, this is equal to this. Then what did it? So they are trying to get the um, parser dot get double value. So this will get me the value of it. See here it is total price. Anywhere did you see total price here? Unit price, invoice number, total price. So this total price 11.5. They wanted to get it. So that's the reason they're doing all this stuff. Uh, so parser dot get double value would give me parser dot double get double value. So we'll get me the race value. So why I want to put this? We can put it here only. So we're checking the token. So the JSON token field name and the parser text value is not equal to null. And instantly we're trying to get the so this is also not required. So we're directly assigning a value to update the distance field which you in restaurant. So while parser will close this loop. And then finally we try to update the account because update account we started. No? So any questions guys here? So with the help of this parser, we just went into on JSON dot get body. So that is holding this value. So now we are trying to create a parser. So that parser we're checking the value if this is equal to distance. So then get me the double value of that particular parcel. With distance and their double value is this. So we're trying to assign to a update dot distance field. So now let's see where it went wrong. 223, 233. Do anywhere we have missed? Open, close. Oh, this is the one. Sorry. You know why? So we're checking the response body is not equal to null, status code is equal to 200. Only then you have to do this activity, or else please do not even update the record. So if they're not null, just get into the parser and we check the values whether it is correct or not. So if this works, and then I'll re-explain this what I'm trying to do it here. Let's go to our any of the record and go to the McDonald's. And open the accounts. Let's say so Rajaram is a person, right? So I just open this Rajaram. So I need to check whether he has a parent record has been mapped. So McDonald's Hyderabad Kukatpalli. So I'll open this record also. Say here is distance of East kilometers and those things is not mapped properly. Let me edit this record also. And since this postal code, you know, guys, the postal code we don't have a right postal code. All these postal codes are not taken from the region across the globe. Only for US they are taking it. So I'm just giving the value as 28075, some random postal code. We assume that this Kukatpalli is 28075. Save it. Hmm, what is this? In before update caused the exception. A subject row was queried as a circle without acquiring the responsible billing postal code. Look at this. If I write a trigger and then if you do it properly, so only then you have to touch this. So it's throwing error. We have to fix them instantly. They shouldn't appear in any other org systems. So on the line 24 in the trigger, account dot billing postal code. So it says that, hey boss, you tried to query this record without even querying them. Okay. Um, just a moment. So I suspect here in the fetch nearest to start on that method we didn't query it. Hmm. So we are writing the entire parent record, and but we are not sending only querying the billing postal code. Wrong, right? So we assume this as a your restaurant record. It's a parent record. So you are getting the ID, of course, ID printed. So now you are using the what is that? You're using this parent record dot billing postal code. In the parent record, you never queried the billing postal code. So that's the reason I did there. See, fetch nearest restaurant, we pass the billing street. Of course, you use the billing street there. So this record is holding only the ID and name. You have never queried the billing postal code there. Look at this code same. You guys getting? So you are trying to query a record, and that record, you're mapping a field and you're dealing with them. And then if you not query, then such errors would come up. So now we have a postal code something 2875, 208 28075. So I just wanted to update Kokatpalli's address also. So I've just given 563032. Hey, I think and now also it would have been filed a request saying that already a feature class is run, because why the feature class is run is this Kokatpalli's address having some postal code is different postal code. Let's quickly check them. So what in a feature method you have been sent. So if you have a proper value, I would return as proper response, or else I would not even say that. See, error code 401 error message API key not found. API key not found. We had an API code, right? So API key label.zip postal code. Hmm. What went wrong here? Maybe I think we copied wrongly. So let me once again recheck them. If one cares or space if it is placed, it's very crazy. So API code. It starts with Y only. Oh, so yesterday API code is different. Today API code is different.
Maybe that is expired.
Yeah. So let me try to. Look at this. No, the different API key we got it here. So that's the reason I just had this. You can't go always to the um, a code and always change API code. So this API code is now it's a first one which you got from the zip code. So we also can get the latest API code, keep on getting it. So what they're saying is you want to get the free application key. So register for us and then you get the you know API code they're asking. If you wanted to have regularly want to access this APIs, you can register free key here. So you would get a live codes always there. Even for this, they would give an API service. Go hit the system, so you get always the new API keys. So API keys is a kind of where you're trying to authorize them. So that is another way we have it. Okay, now um, I want to change this to a proper address, like as yesterday what we're dealing with. US postal code after set zip codes.
28277 just.
Yeah, what is that? 28. Mm-hmm.
28277.
Okay, this is nearest.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me save this record. A parent account cannot be a child of an account which is already a parent of. Okay, while dealing that they have don't have a postal code here. Mm, hmm. So Kukatpally is trying to find out a record. So they are trying to find by themselves who is a parent ID. And Kukatpally Hyderabad. It's another crazy one. Fetch the nearest restaurant by city. No, not this one. Hmm. Okay. Fetch the nearest restaurant by street between. Um, so what is happening is you're just simply passing the billing street um, in the before update. I wanted to pass also the their account ID because it's an update statement. So why I'm doing this is purposely because what is happening is you're simply passing the billing street. So many billing street we have Pocket Pally already registered, and it is crazily taking that same account and then same account record is trying to update, which is not good enough. For that reason, I'm saying that I'm also sending the account ID here. The purpose is so here also we have to send the billing street slash account ID. What if there are no records? They don't have an account record. It's okay. So they might not have an account ID. It's okay. Not equal to only, I say, Mm. So I'll tell you why that error has been throwing it up. And so you can have a next line queries also written like this. It's okay. If you have two big queries, you can put all in one line. So what I'm trying to say is, so in this case, when I'm trying to update a record, it says um, a parent record cannot be the same child record. So it is trying to get the same Kukatpally as this parent record. How can a record be the same record can be parent? You can have some other different record as a parent. So the search query is getting me the same record here. So that's the reason I'm able to fetch them. Is getting? So what I'm trying to say is now, hey, you are passing an account ID that should not be the same guy. Only then you do all this activity, or it's not recorded at all. So um, still the same. Let's see the error what it says. So is this with this? Some logic which you written. Finding the billing account ID and or else find the postal code. So on this I want to send account ID. So I'll tell you once this is working and then what went wrong and what it is. I'll tell you. I'll try to simply update this record. Um, so it should have. So basically, Kukupari billing address is fine, and then we find this. Hmm. So in the future, and that's an error we are getting it. So we're getting the results as 32 kilometers, fine, but it's not updating the record right result there. So what if I see is there's something as current token which is going that is wrong. Okay, current field name not numeric cannot use numeric value access as an input location. Hmm. So this is an issue. So what is the result that we got it? So go to the debug. So now guys, this if you get as a string, and how intelligently we use this and parse this value and get these right results. So that if you understand, then it's good enough because we're getting the right result. So the parser which has been sending that is has an issue. So we'll filter out them. So what I have to do is I'll go to current E. So in the last time when we were trying to hit it, we got these results, right? So I'll try to process there only. So then we'll go to natural logic. Yeah. So, so instead of using this, I'll use um, label dot zip code API. So API is dynamic now. So what is the postal code? 12827728277. Okay. Now this would result in me a response. Now let us parse these results here. The same logic we can put it there. So developer console is something that to do all this crazy test we can use it. Or else you can't go to the UI, keep modifying them. We can hit the service here, results would get it, we can test it out here only. What is going wrong, we can check it here only. Now so I want to parse basically this guys. So we'll see this. Response already. Well, parser dot next token not equal to null. So let me put this. So let me do a system.debug here. So this response body is having that the JSON which you wanted as distance, and then we'll try to process with the. Let's see whether this works or not. Is that it's a label dot current token field name not numeric. Cannot use numeric value ancestors location. So it's just distance, and then we're trying to get the double value. So what's wrong on this?
Maybe a string value like
No, when I see here, it doesn't give in a double quotes. If it gives in double quotes, we assume that it's string.
okay.
So we'll put this as so such errors is very common ways you can um, copy such errors and throw it to the Google. So not able to pass integer into parser. This is matching. What is an Apache? if text is equal to this. Uh, so if I do this get integer value, let me do this instead of cannot use numeric value, right? Let's do this. So I'll try to use the method as instead of getting get double, I'll try to use get integer value. Hmm. But integers won't have see they can't be get text also. Here they are text. So get text means I'm getting only this. I wanted to get their value. So crazy. Guys getting so parser dot get text means I'm just getting the distance value, and I want to get their next value. Um, so this guy, oh, sorry, this we missed it. Sorry for this. So we have to paste it this. Parser dot next token means it'll jump from distance to the next value. I think get table value. Oh, yes, look at this. So if you are if you're there only, so we're not able to get the value. Look at this now. It's getting okay. A simple change only. So all we did is perfect. So we didn't move our pointer to the next line. Pass it dot next token. We have to give it. We came till distance. That I agree. But what is next? If you want to get to go to the respective next value, you should move on to your pointer to next token. So this token your distance. In next token you'll get a value. So you are got into the flow. It will says this is distance because parser dot get text is equal to distance it matched. When I say next token, I'll jump to the next value. Again, if I say next token, I'll go to next value. So like this. If some other things are there, ABC, and something like this, you see. So now you are in token is here. Next token is go here, and next token goes here. Next token goes here. Like that it is. You getting? So let me save this. So I just missed. You got into a loop where next token you have to print it. Then only you are moving to the next line. So now let me go to Rajaram and edit it out. Basically, I need to see that 32 kilometers something as a distance here. Still not. Okay, let's see the errors. Okay, it's something no different error. What is that? Update. Update failed. The first exception 0 with the ID this cannot insert or update activity entity. Account trigger execution before update. Oh, but we're just moving out of this scope, right? So we are having at the rate feature. Is it at the rate feature? Yeah. Hmm. Let me not do an update activity here. What is this crazy? So they don't allow their to update their own record. See, future and is run. So we'll see the results. What has been mapped there. So they're getting right results, but they're not allowing to update a record. It's just so crazy. So this distance fields we wanted to update this record. Hmm. So let me do one thing. So guys, I tried the couple of way here. So where we tried to investigate deeply into methods. So what did I all do? So first thing is I had in before update trigger. In before update trigger, I moved that logic to after update, complete to after update. While I'm trying to print with the after update also, I couldn't see. So the nearest restaurant on the street when we were passing it. So a few values are not been getting there. So I just saw the parent ID and parent record. So this postal code, it's not coming till here. So that means you're not passing in the value till here. So that's the reason this fetch is not happening. So overall, when I saw the log, it's running onto the before update trigger. It's running on before update. After update, it's never even run through. So if I just search this, so if I go to the end of the log, so I could see it's still running into the before update only. Trigger on even before update. So it's still here. So on a before update trigger, I cannot do a DML activity. You can do call outs, it can go update someone third party, you can touch it out. But what you're doing is you're coming back to the same record and you're updating the DML activity. Like saying specifically you did a statement called as update. So specifically we're saying that update that particular record. So in a before trigger, we should not use a single DML statement called as update. But anyhow, we're saying that this transaction would run a different system, saying something like update record, we're doing it. It's absolutely going to a different transaction. But however, you are trying to update the same record, you're not supposed to fire the such event called as an update event activity. So I just moved from the before activity and checked on after trigger. In after, it is not even coming to that particular point where you can update the record. But I'll see. So I want to make sure from a trigger only it should fire and it should do an update. So why it is not updating to the same what do you say Apex record? So I'll just check that. So we wanted to update to the record because you're trying to fetch a service and you have obviously have to update to the same record. In such situation, it's a real-time painful scenario where you are trying to fetch from the same account and you have to update the same account. Now, what is the idea for that? So if I just crack this, I'll let you know, guys.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. I'll just come back with this answers. Yeah. Thank you all.